Hello and welcome to International Ice Hockey here on Screen Sport. I'm Paul Ferguson, and today's game features Czechoslovakia against the might of the Soviet Union. And of course, the big question is, how well will the Soviets do without many of their superstars? During the summer, 8 world-class players crossed the Atlantic to play in the National Hockey League. Fedosov went to New Jersey, as did Sergei Statikov. Vladimir Khrushchev and Igor Larionov went to Vancouver. Makarov and Pryakin are in Calgary, Mogilny in Buffalo, and Milnikov in Quebec. So quite a loss for the Soviet Union. The Czechs look strong as they did last year, virtually the same team. Let's take a look now at the lineups as we listen to the national anthems. So we're just seconds away from the opening face-off here in Prague, Czechoslovakia. I should add quickly that the 9th Soviet Union player to go to the NHL is Helmut Balderes. He's currently with Minnesota. He hasn't played in the Soviet Union for some time. He's 37 years old, and he was scouted down in Japan where he was coaching, and he requested a tryout with Minnesota, and he's there now, and he's still with the organization. So things looking good for several of the Soviets. How will they fare today, and how will they fare this season? The Czechs, as I said, have virtually the same team as they have done for the past couple of seasons. There's a good shot of the Soviet Union coach and CSKA coach Viktor Tikhonov, one of the most successful coaches in the history of ice hockey. Starting in goal for the Czechs will be number 2, Dominik Hasek. He's been with the organization for a long time. In my opinion, one of the most consistent goaltenders on the circuit. For the Soviets, Artur Erb, number 20. Getting the starting nod from Tikhonov. So the Soviets will be in red, playing from left to right, and the referee is from Sweden, Mr. Olsen. The first period underway, and already you can hear the crowd getting behind their players as Seagar was upended at the blue line. It'll be interesting to see what the big red machine can do without the best line in the world. That, of course, was Larionov, Makarov, and Krutov. The Czechs coming right in, brought down in the opening seconds. Ruzicka wrestles his man, Malakov, that's right out front. And Serban goes back forward in the neutral zone. Serban off the boards. Head manning it up, and Ruzicka, the race is on. Krivociza dumps it, but it goes nowhere, and the Soviets, early stages yet, but looking in disarray. The Soviets, of course, are known for their tenacious forechecking, their excellent passing, and the ability to go the distance. Right out front, good defensive move there, and back come the Soviets on the attack here in the first period. Fedorov takes a shot, and that goes off a shin pad, bounces behind, and we're going to have a face-off. So quite a quick opening start here in the first period. A good crowd in Prague as the international season gets underway. Sergei Fedorov will do the honors in the face-off circle for the Soviet Union. Zelepukin on the wing, and you're going to hear, if you follow the Soviets, you're going to hear some new names out there as they have dug deep into their reserves to come up with a national side. Zelepukin head manning it nicely at center, trying to get that out front. Zelepukin now turning, taken out of the play. Ganechki pushing it forward to Dolezal. He's taken out nicely in the neutral zone, getting a bit sloppy. Kusarov, a seasoned campaigner, gets it up. Fedorov takes a shot. And Yanechki, Baka press it against the boards, along with number 5, Drahomir Kadlec, and so we'll have a face-off again, just to the side of Dominik Hasek's net. This is a friendly encounter, or that's the way it's billed, but I have a feeling, as there is no love lost between these two teams, and that shot just goes wide, that this won't be so friendly. I'm sure it'll be physical, even though it is at a very early stage in the ice hockey season. A long pass to the far side. Vlak going up, drops it back. No one in front of the net. Siryev was there to pick it up. Stilnov getting it up. Kadlec takes his man out neatly, a one-on-one situation. That's what he's got to do, and hopefully the wingers will come back to pick it up. Siryev got the shot. Vlak picks it up. The Czechs, slow, determined build-up. So they work it into the neutral zone and then fire it in. Stilnov pushes it to the corner. Stepantsev. A long pass, really to no one in particular. That's going all the way down the ice. And here we have an icing call. And for those of you not familiar with the rule, if you shoot the puck from your side of the red line all the way down without touching anyone, and you're not shorthanded through penalty, then it's icing. The puck, as you can see, is brought all the way down into the offending zone, and we'll have a face-off to the left of the goaltender, Artur Erb. The shot for the point goes off his skate. Jelinek good job of getting that back. Erb deflects that behind, and they really are following through with the Czechs. The puck is being released, but the Czech is coming right through. Still keeping it in. The Soviets now in possession. Chirikov having problems along the boards. Brings his man down. There's a whistle from the crowd. Lots of jeers. They expected a penalty there, but the official Olsen kept his arms down. Now, the Soviets coming back on the attack, coming right in on Hasek. Wide of the target, and that goes all the way down the ice. And the Soviets, with number 10, Vladimir Chirikov, getting back into possession once again. Teams changing on the fly as the Czechs bring it out now. Seager over the red line, over the blue. Seager still in position. He has Ruzicka trailing. Konstantinov, the veteran defender wearing number 22, came up with it but couldn't take it out. Ruzicka now takes a shot, and that's just wide. The rebound came out on the far side. Herb wasn't aware it was there. Ruzicka still forechecking. In my opinion, one of the most consistent players on the Czech side, number 17, Ruzicka. And there's another good player, Vladimir Svitek. Ruzicka now. Sitkanley gets it over the far side, and that shot again goes wide of the target. Dumped out over the blue line as Seagar runs into problems. Switches to the far side of the rink, and offside is the call. So Czechoslovakia starting to put on a bit of pressure here in the opening stages of the first period. Both teams changing their lineups. Jurgis Baka, that rough-looking, mustachioed player for Czechoslovakia, comes out to take his turn. Malikov, all the way down the ice. Gudas missed it. It's held as Tikhonov looks on. Dumped out into the neutral zone. Malikov. Again, the pass goes nowhere. Byakin. Steviana all the way down the ice. The Soviets now. Kusarov loses at the blue line. And some good back-checking there by the Soviets. Rescued that situation. Byakin out on his own. Malikov. Byakin, who wears number 6, an aggressive player, often overshadowed in the old days by the likes of Krutov and Larionov and Makarov. But I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of Byakin, number 6. Siriev takes a weak shot that Hasek handles neatly, flecks it in. Now, Kuchera taken out by number 8, Stepantsev, to the far side. Kadlec brought his man to the ice. The shot, it's still the Soviets in possession. Now the whistle's going to go, and Kadlec, I'm sure, number 5 for Czechoslovakia, who will go into the box for holding. He puts his right hand up to say, well, I don't believe that one, but you be the judge here. So the first power play of the game will go to the Soviet Union. Still no score here as Kadlec shakes his head. Two minutes in the penalty box for holding. Sipisin from the draw, wearing Makarov's old jersey, number 24. Tough job now. Hasek has it right in front, and that's in the net. Titov set it up. Sistianov, number 21, got the final touch right under Hasek. That's a power play goal. It's 7:15 here in the first period. Let's look at this again on the slow-mo. Titov breaks in, splits the defense. They have to go with him. Number 21, Sistianov, from a sharp angle, gets that right under Hasek. Well, it didn't take the Soviets long, and you can see Cadillac giving that stern look to the referee for calling that penalty that resulted in that goal. So the Soviets take the lead 1-0 at 7:15 of the first period, with the Czechs shorthanded. Puck held against the boards, so we'll have a face-off just inside the blue line. There's confirmation of the score. Ruzicka. Semyonov in the face-off circle. Soviets happy to fire it in and keep it in. Serban, a bad pass by him, eventually comes up with the puck. Every time the Czechs touch the puck, there's a roar from this partisan crowd. Svitek, forechecking, number 22, Konstantinov, losing it out to Seeger. Seeger coming back now. Ruzicka can't put a handle on it. And that one bobbles across the crease in front of Herb. Just couldn't get that one to control, and that shot goes wide of the target, as this is developing into a fast and furious pace here in the first period. Good end-to-end stuff so early on in the game and in the season. Kovanov loses it out. Now the Czechs coming back. Well, there's no one there, so they have to double back and regroup. Not a good pass to Ruzicka. He tries to get it over. Kusarov comes up with a puck. Up on the left wing now. 3 Czechs back. Biakin gets that right in front. There's no one there. And Hasek came out to make a good save, but where were the Czech defenders? They're all on the far side watching Biakin. A good move by him, but there was no one in front of the net. A shot, and this time Hasek smothers the rebound, and the Czechs really do rely heavily on Dominik Hasek between the pipes. Let's look at this again. The pass, 4 Czechs on one side of the rink, and no one there to stop the shot. Black. Nemenov. Seryev touches it, and icing is the call. So the face-off to the right of Dominik Hasek as he looks down the ice. 1-0 the score here in the first period of this friendly. Back to the point, kept in by Shiryev. Shot goes off the skate. Black forechecking. Still the Soviets in control. Now Kuchera breaking down, and he's taken out nicely as Shiryev gets back into position for the Soviet Union. Cadillac bounces that off the boards. Vantsev loses it out, and Kuchera again, but there are too many red shirts around. He drops it back to Black. Black's a nice stick handle. It goes round. Oh, that hit the side of the net. Herb was down. I think he had it under control. The stick was out there, and it was from a ridiculously sharp angle that shot came, and it hit the side of the net. Steered into the corner. That's going to be a penalty against the Soviet Union. Interference the call. And this could give the Czechs a chance to get back in the game. Kristich, number 28. Let's look at this. Number 27, Black goes in, gets round the goalie. The stick was there all the way with it, and the player was forced to shoot wide. So Kristich goes in the penalty box for interference. And listen to that Czechoslovakian crowd. Power play situation for the Czechs. Can they level the score? Kuchera. Jelinek. Dropping it back as they do. Kuchera now. Into the corner. Soviets will let them play in that corner all day long. Dolezal. Dolezal back to the point. Shot into the corner, a bit of a misunderstanding there. No one there to pick it up. Tipped out over the line by Sipishin. Dolezal up onto the right wing. So many red shirts getting back as Dolezal eventually came up with it. Hasak. Sipishin. Well, he's going to take his time as the Soviets change on the fly. He says, come on and get me. I'm trying to kill off this 2-minute penalty, and he's doing just that. Oh, some good stuff. And eventually, the Czechs come up with the puck. But not before number 24 killed off some valuable seconds. Hasak dropping it back. Serban. Serban again. Ruzicka, a long pass. Svitek. Ruzicka. Seagar. Some good defensive work, but that resulted in another penalty. Well, the Soviets were back there, but they were just a bit too aggressive. Another penalty, this time for cross-checking. Konstantinov, number 22, goes in the box. So the Soviets in a difficult situation. 2 men in the penalty box. They lead by 1 goal here in the first period. Ruzicka is out there with Seagar. And you can see the reaction from Viktor Tikhonov yelling at the official. He wasn't happy. And Olsen has gone over and told him to cool it. It's rare that you see Tikhonov become that animated. He's usually stone-faced and in control of everything out there, but obviously something upset him. Ruzicka now in the circle. Svitek. Serban. Staviana's back at the point. That's in the net! Svitek levels the score. A lovely little pass from Ruzicka. Staviana got it up to Ruzicka from back of the point. And it's 1 goal apiece. Staviana. Serban. Now Ruzicka. Svitek's on the far post. All he needs to do is tap it in the open net. So the score, 1 goal apiece, and both goals coming on power play situations. Konstantinov still in the penalty box, so still a power play situation for Czechoslovakia. Yuri Seba. All the way down the ice. The whistle blows for icing call. So we'll have a face-off just to the right of Dominic Hassett. The defenseman shot that in just before he got to the red line. Seba. Soviets keeping it in, still with a man short. Baka. Seba. Janecki. Seba. Pass just a bit too much for Cadillac. Krohn dropping it back. Seba runs into trouble at the blue line, and the Soviets dump it into the neutral zone. Baka. Well, there seems to be some misunderstanding there, as it takes time for the Czechs to get organized here. Black, quite a stylish player, a good stick handler, likes to take on the defender. Just come right out front, back to the point. Cadillac takes a shot, and that's blocked down, and eventually shot down the ice. A good opportunity there for Cadillac to go into the record books as having scored a goal in this first period, but it just wasn't to be. Knocked down by the defense, Kuchera. The Soviets killing off this penalty with Konstantinov in the box for cross-checking. 1-1 the score. Black taken out nicely. Konstantinov steps back on the ice. Kuchera. Gudas. A long shot, an easy one for Erb as he steers that one into the corner. The Soviets now with Shiryaev, the far side, working their way in front. Some good back checking. Otto Hasek. Both teams skating well and skating hard, considering this is one of the first encounters of the season. Well, again, they can't seem to find the handle on that puck. Whether the ice is soft, it's warm, perhaps, I don't know, but the puck is bobbling. Difficulties for both teams. Lomakin getting it up. The Soviets now breaking, not as we're used to seeing them in 2s and 3s, but from time to time, just 1-on-3, and they'll have to sort that out. Konstantinov. He's got Semenov with him as the teams change on the fly. Here in the first period, 1 goal apiece. A shot, Hasek handles that one nicely. Not a difficult one, right in the midriff, but a rebound could have been dangerous. Always so confident, usually quite consistent. Again, another close-in, point-blank shot as Staviana comes to the rescue, but Hasek had to be there first. Seeger, Bruzicka to the left wing. Serban, Bruzicka offside the call, and the spectators here don't agree with that one. Bruzicka to Seeger. Serban flips it into the corner. Malakhov. Kuserov. Looking for Fedorov. Still along the board. Staviana pushing, poking. A bit sloppy. Malakhov now. A lot of these plays breaking down before they develop into anything at all. Still both teams trying to get their act together. As I said, it is early on in the season, but you're looking at possibly 2 of the best international sides in the world. Good back checking again by Seeger. Oh, and he gives it right away. Stepantsev was the guy who worked in for the Soviets. Seeger was there to pick up the loose puck and then handed it right to the Soviet player. Shiryaev flips it around, and that's going to go out over the blue line. Yanechki takes his man out. Shiryaev. Long pass just doesn't come off. He checks with Baka back. Crone calling for it up along the board. Saba having problems, kicks the puck, and eventually ends up face down on the ice. A shot from a sharp angle. Oh, bobbles. Hasek couldn't find it, and eventually steered away, and back comes Czechoslovakia. Just a bit too far for the forward, and the Soviets bringing it in over the blue line. The long shot He's deflected away, the rebound kicked away this time, and Seba is there to push it into the corner. Siriev. Oh, lovely pass to the far side. He really didn't even look. He knew exactly where Stepancev was. Baka. A sharp angle, a shot right off the pads of Archer Erb. No problem for him. Black right in front. Krohn takes a shot, and that's steered away. Left all alone, and he's trying to get the rebound on this one. And again, the puck is bouncing. Erb is trying to get a glove on it, and eventually he does to call for the whistle. Well, some good stuff around the Soviet net for a change. Let's take a look at this again. Black is in the corner. He gets it back. The slap shot. Erb has no problems with that. Krohn tries for the rebound. It's deflected wide. The far side, the puck is bouncing. And the rebound eventually smothered by Erb. The Soviets, as I said, of course, are without that shot just high over the target. Are without the services of Sergei Milnikov, the goaltender, who's now with Quebec Nordiques, not having a brilliant start to the NHL season. The reports are that he's out of shape and he's not fitting in. It's not going to be easy for the Soviets. Sergei Makarov, of course, one of the star players, is having a good season so far. He's fitting in well over there. Pressed along the boards. The official blows the whistle as Titov, who got the assist on the first goal, calls for a whistle and a line change. Still in the first period, the score 1-1. The Soviets scored first on a power play with Sistianov from Titov, and then Svitek replied for the Czechs, also on a power play. Kuchera scoops it in. Erb leaves it. Oh, some rough stuff along the boards. Nice work there by Lomakin. Zelepukin dumped it in. Lomakin couldn't control that one. Krivociza. Dolezal. Less than a minute remaining now here in the first period. The crowd getting behind the Czechs. They would love to go into the dressing room at the end of this period, 2-1 up. 1-1 the score. Krivociza, Konstantinov. The pass too far, Staviana. The Czechs, have they got time for a shot? Oh, some good work out there by the Soviet defense. Time ticking away here. Just a few seconds now remaining. Serban, can he get a shot away? That goes off a skate. Flips into the neutral zone. Staviana to Serban. And there goes the whistle and the buzzer to end the first period. The score 1-1. Welcome back to Ice Hockey on Screen Sport. Here, as we start the second period, it's 1 goal apiece, 1 for the Soviet Union, 1 for Czechoslovakia. Sistianov opened the scoring from Titov for the Soviets at 7:15 of the first period. Power play situation for them, and Svitek from Ruzicka and Serban. Staviana was involved to level the score at 11:36. That was also a power play goal. 2 Soviets in the penalty box at that time. So the Soviets now will play from right to left as the Swedish referee calls them to center for the face-off. been a good seesaw battle. The Soviets have tested Hasek more than the Czechs have tested her. Hasek, as I said, in my opinion, the best goaltender on the international circuit. He really does earn his money out there. He's got some good defensemen with Gudas, Kuchera, Cadillac, Servant, but from time to time they go walkies and he's left all alone. Olsen checking with the goal judges to see if they're there, see if the lights work. Ratash, the backup goaltender, takes a seat on the bench, and here we go for the second period. A good crowd here in Prague. Oh, Ruzicka getting right in there. Such a tenacious forechecker. Ruzicka now coming around. Ruzicka scores! Well, Herb won't be happy with that one. Ruzicka has got a smile from ear to ear as he puts the Czechs into a 2-1 lead. 16 seconds have gone in this period, and really that was down to tenacious forechecking. He picked up this puck here. The defenseman wasn't looking at him. He worked his way around the post. The poke check by the goaltender was missed, and that's in between the goaltender's pads. "16 seconds gone, and Ruzicka takes a break after scoring that goal, and the Czechs are fired up. Zelpukin scoops that one around. Hasek can't get on it. Kron can't control it. Seba loses it now. The Czechs push it along the boards. That's not going to go out. And now eventually it trickles out over as Janeski mixes it up along the boards. Prohatska keeping his eye on Biakin. A lot of the passes, if you've been watching the National Hockey League here on Screen Sport, a lot of the passes you see here are much longer than the NHL style of play. I would say too that it's much more physical, without a doubt, in the National Hockey League, and they really do follow through with their checks. The Soviets now. Kusarov trying to find Fedorov on the wing. Oh, some sloppy play there by Janechki. Biakin back to Kusarov. Baka going for it. Baka. Long pass, threaded the eye of the needle there, but just a bit too strong for Janechki as he's taken out of the play. No penalty called, and back come the Soviets. Nemenov tries to do the same thing that Ruzicka did, and that one wide of the far post. The break is on now, but the Soviets always there as Gudas pushes that one along the boards down into Soviet territory. Sergeyev, Kuchera. The Soviets trailing by a goal here in the second period. Well, there's going to be a penalty on the play. They're giving it to Kuchera, but I don't think he was the guilty party. Sergeyev got that one on the chin, and it looked like it came from a high stick, but let's look at this again. This will give the Soviets a chance to put on the power play. As Kuchera goes into the box, number 5, Cadillac is over there. Now watch, there's Kuchera, number 14. His stick is down, but Cadillac's stick is up around Sergeyev's face. And really, he should go into the box and not Kuchera. Well, number 14 is in the box for 2 minutes. He can't believe it. Looking bewildered, shaking his head. Nevertheless, it's a power play situation for the Soviet Union. The Czechs setting up that box. As that works right in front of the net, Hasek had his eye on it, and eventually it was cleared into the neutral zone. So a close call in the early stages of this penalty. The Soviets now coming back. Titov wearing Fetisov's old jersey. Can't make anything of it, and the Czechs dump it down the ice. A difficult one for Erb, a bouncing puck as he came out nicely to cut down the bounce. Sistiakov. And still the power play not developing as Erb has to come to the rescue once again. The Soviets looking a bit disorganized, but just when you think they're out of it, they come right back in and level the score or go into the lead. A long shot, the rebound. Titov couldn't control that. Now Serban getting it up to Ruzicka. Ruzicka taken out of the play nicely by Chirikov. Steviana. Well, it's difficult to tell who has the penalty here. Some good back-checking there by the Soviets. Ruzicka doing a good job along with Svitek killing off this penalty. Chirikov. Semenov now. Kuchera gets back on the ice, right in front, a loose puck, and that's backhanded. They say it's still in. It looked like it went out over the blue line. Baka fires it around, and this time it goes out into the neutral zone. So the Czechs successfully kill off that penalty. Sistianov. Konstantinov. Too far for Korvanov as that goes all the way down the ice. Baka goes back for it. Hasek decides that the best thing to do is to hang on to it and call for a face-off. Good defensive work there by Czechoslovakia. Not that many opportunities coming from the Soviet power play as they change their lines and put on number 29, Sergei Fedorov, in the face-off with Yuri Seba. The shot, and that's in the net. From point-blank range, Zalapukin took the draw from Fedorov, number 29, to level the score at 5:12 of this second period. Let's look at this again. Fedorov gets it over between the skate. A shot from point-blank range, triples by Hasek, and that's in the back of the net. Oh, it was difficult to tell from the crowd reaction whether that went in or not. The Czechs not about to cheer when the Soviets score. So the score level here, a good game in progress. Fedorov coming now, a shot wide of Hasek. Delayed offside, the Czechs let it come out. Prohatska. Prohatska looking for the long pass, intercepted at the blue line by the Soviets, and back they come. Oh, right out front. Gusarov takes a weak shot, and eventually Hasek gets a glove to it. The rebound was more danger than was the shot, but Hasek made sure of it. So the score level here in the second period. 2 goals apiece, and the game still wide open. Czechoslovakia against the Soviet Union here in Prague. The new look Soviet side much younger and to somewhat less experienced than the old one. Krstić, a name to watch for in the future. Kuchera. Nemenov couldn't keep it in. Whistle blows. Another penalty on the play, this time for holding. Going against the Soviet Union. Number 12, Nemchinov, going in the penalty box. For 2 minutes. So the Czechs with a power play. Pavlas on the defense. Pavlas leading it. Leaving it for number 24, Jelinek. Jelinek, who's been fairly quiet so far in the first period, and what's gone in the second. Number 10, Pavlas taking that shot wide of the target. Eventually keeps it in. Pavlas again. Along the boards, Pavlas for a third time. Doesn't take the shot. Still Pavlas, this time over to the far side. The shot from Kuchera. Blocked at the defense and shot down the ice. Hasek. Kuchera. Kuchera and Pavlas working their way up. Ruzicka calling for it. Ruzicka. Pavlas waits a bit too long for that one, but Ruzicka comes to the rescue. Pavlas back to Ruzicka. A shot. No, he fakes it. Oh, it goes right across the slot. There was no one there to pick it up. Back to the point. Pavlas takes a shot, and again, it doesn't get through to Erb. Knocked down at the defense. Svitek can't keep it in. Sipison stick handling nicely. Good job of killing this penalty. That shot by number 21, Sistianov, comes to nothing, and the Soviets eventually fire that down the ice. Servin. Oh, Sipison working his way around the blue line, and he's happy just to shoot that one in to kill off this penalty, and he's done just that. Number 12 for the Soviet Union steps back on the ice. The team's back at full strength. Stevianov. On a brilliant pass from him. And the Czechs with a 2-on-1 break. Oh, some good defensive work there. The shot trickles wide. The Czechs getting their chances, but not making the most of them. They've had several open shots on goal, but they've gone wide or hit skates. Semenov taken out by Yanecki. Semenov back to the point, the slap shot. Steered away. Semenov again, taking on Yanecki. And eventually the Soviets come up with it. Well, this is getting sloppy. There's no whistle as they fire it into the corner, and it's starting to look like hockey that we played several years ago on a pond in Canada. Not stylish, not up to this standard, or up to this level, or at least what it should be at all. Steviana losing sight of that one. The hand is up for the delayed offside, and eventually the whistle blows. So play breaking down somewhat there, as both teams probably a bit tired. We went for quite a while there without a change on the fly. There wasn't a whistle. And now they get that much needed change. Pavel Wohl looks to be concerned, but it is early days in the season. He's got such a strong team to coach. So many seasoned veterans. That shot just goes wide. Hasek gets back to his feet. Still not out of harm's way here. Fedorov taken out nicely. Kron comes to the rescue, picks up the puck. Prohatska head-manning it nicely. Janecki. Oh, the break is on. And a good save as the goalie is pushed into the net by number 23, Vladimir Malakhov. And Olsen is saying no goal. Erb came out nicely to cut down the angle, and it was eventually pushed into the net, but the whistle had gone. Let's take another look at this again. Janecki lays it right on the stick. Malakhov couldn't get back in time. The shot, Erb comes up with the save, and eventually Malakhov says, sorry mate, I can't stop. Well, many of the supporters here calling for a goal, but the whistle had blown. So we're back to the live action. A shot, stopped nicely by Dominik Hasek. The defense getting back, not being able to control it. Right out front, and again Hasek picks up the loose puck. Konstantinov comes in from the slot to push that one around behind the goaltender. Some good defensive work there as Dolana, who's seen very little action for the Czechs, had the chance to get his stick on the puck. Nemchinov head-manning it into the neutral zone. Soviets, Stepantsev taken out of the play. And back comes Czechoslovakia. The Soviets, that shot just wide of the target. Number 3, Alexander, or rather Leo Gudas, had the break. Oh, and a wicked elbow by Dolezal as a penalty is being called on the play. Hooking is the call, and there's the official's arm to indicate that the penalty has occurred. And number 10 for the Soviets, Vladimir Churyakov, goes in the box. But Dolezal, what a wicked elbow from him, and the official missed it. So a power play for Czechoslovakia. Hooking the call against Churyakov. And the Soviets uncharacteristically getting more than their fair share of penalties. Still, their goaltender, Artur Erb, hasn't had a lot to do compared to what Hasek has done between the pipes for Czechoslovakia. Svitek dumping it out for Kuchera, just a bit too far for him. And the Soviet slap shot goes all the way down the ice. Back for it, Petropavlos. Well, some misunderstanding here on the part of the Czechs. Hasek, Kuchera taken out. And again, the Soviets say thank you very much. We'll kill off this penalty and dump it down the ice. Hasek scoops it into the corner to Pavlas. Some good forechecking here by the Soviet side. In particular, number 24, Yuri Sipichin. Obviously, he'll be used to kill off the penalties when the Soviets have them. Good stick handler, good forechecker, good skater. So the Czechs having trouble getting something organized as Konstantinov and Seeger rough it up along the boards. Nothing comes of it. But the Czechs really not putting their, or getting their act together, not putting the pressure that is required when they have a power play situation on Artur Erb. Svitek out there, Ruzicka, Svitek and Ruzicka combined on that first goal for Czechoslovakia. And that was a power play. Can they do it here? Serban bats it down and keeps it in. And again, the Soviets shoot it down the ice. Steviana. Soviets back to full strength now, and really not one of the best power play situations for Czechoslovakia. Lomakin. Soviets working their way in now. Some of the passes not really on target, not what you would expect from the Soviet Union. That's right out front, a loose puck. Eventually cleared all the way down the ice. Going back for it is the official and the Soviet Union, and icing is the call. So both teams finding their feet here in the second period. Some good stuff, but I can confidently say a lot better to come as the season progresses. Fedorov. Sapukin. Yanechki. Prohatska now squeezing his man along the woodwork. Well, no one seems to know where it is. Yanechki wants it kicked out. Biakin presses it along the boards with number 22, Yuri Seba, and we'll have another face-off. A bit scrappy here in the second period. 2 goals apiece. Still a wide open game. Hasek pokes that into Yanechki. Yanechki. They can't control that long pass. All the way back for it. The Soviets touch it, and again it's an icing call. So both teams will use this opportunity to change their lines. Familiar sign. Tikhonov, as he looks back at his players and then onto the ice, they know exactly what he wants them to do. As I said before, he really doesn't get involved with a lot of shouting and screaming. Lord knows what goes on in between the periods in the dressing room, but on the ice, when the team's out there, he's usually fairly stone-faced. Excellent coach, has been around for years. An incredible record with CSKA Moscow, and of course, the Soviet national side. Baka. Coming in now, the Soviets, the shot, handled nicely by Hasek on the glove hand side, and he calls for a face-off. No real pattern to the play yet. A stop and start action as again the teams change on the fly, or change as the whistle blows. Kristich gets the shot away. Hasek is equal to it. Pavlas steered out of the play. The Czechs having problems getting out of their own zone. Eventually it comes out over the blue line. Kuchera. Pass is intercepted nicely. Back come the Soviets. The shot. Oh! And number 24 was wide open on the far post. Sipicin, Yuri Sipicin, calling for it, but Hasek grabbed that one as he came out slightly to cut down the angle. Let's look at this again. Watch number 24 on the left-hand side. A 2-on-1 situation. The defenseman, rightly so, stays in the middle. The shot is grabbed, and you can see number 24 patting the ice saying, hey, I'm wide open. The Czechs winning the draw, dropping that one back. Steviana. Svitek. Too far for Ruzicka. Still the Czechs now milling around, trying to get that puck in front. You can see the Soviets with 3 men back there. Tipitin fires that all the way around to the far side. Serban can't keep it in. Puts it up to Seeger. Staviana. Ruzicka forechecking. Lets his man go, and the Soviets now coming back on the attack. Staviana goes back, pushes that one away. And again, it's dumped into the neutral zone. Konstantinov. Semenov. And the whistles and jeers coming from the Czech supporters. They want to see more from their team. I think they want to see more from this game. It's been physical, it's been fast. And we've had several penalties, and there's one of them. Tripping is the call. Baka, number 18 for Czechoslovakia, will go into the penalty box for 2 minutes. Here's the incident. Right there, right in front of the Swedish official, Olsen. Two minutes then for Baka for tripping, as he takes a look at the clock to see the time left here in the second period. Scores level at 2 goals apiece. The Soviets keeping it in. Semenov scoops it around to the far side. Kuchera forechecking, back-checking rather, trying to push that one out, and eventually Serban whistles that one around the boards, and back for it goes Konstantinov. Semenov taken out nicely. Some good defensive work there by the Czechs as they do their best to kill off this 2-minute penalty. Soviets now. Leo Gudas pushes his man into the boards, but still it's the Soviets getting it back to the point. Konstantinov calling for it from the far side. Right in front. Oh, and the shot just didn't come as Dominik Hasek lost his stick. Number 19, Horvanov, was right in front of the net and couldn't control it. Erb gets it up. Biakin. Hasek takes no chances, smothers it for a face-off. So still the score is level here in the second period. Most of the action has been on or around Dominik Hasek's net, but he's been equal to, well, most of the shots anyway. 2 goals apiece, a power play situation for the Soviet Union. Pass just a bit too far for Soviet winger. Biakin couldn't put a handle on it either. Malakhov now. The Soviets with 3 men up. Pavlas drives that one all the way down the ice. Zalapukin with Kuserov and Malakhov. Well, back is back on the ice, and again the Czechs do a good job of killing off the penalty. Biakin dropping it back. Fedorov scores! Well, just as Baka stepped on the ice, Biakin, a little drop pass to Fedorov, number 29, and he let go that shot from inside the blue line to make it 3-2. Let's look at this again. The teams are at full strength. Biakin now cruises in on the left wing. looking for someone to pass to. He had the man in front of the net. The slap shot from Fedorov beats Hasek. 3-2 now the score here in the second period. The Soviet Union have gone back into the lead. Steviana. Stilnov. Time running out here in the second period. Clock ticking down. Stilnov. A chance for a shot here. Stilnov takes a shot. It bounces off the side. Still, it's a Soviet Union possession. The whistle blows to end the second period. A good comeback late in the period by the Soviet Union. They lead 3-2. Join us for the third period in a moment. Welcome back to the third and final period of this friendly game between the Soviet Union and Czechoslovakia. The score 3-2 with just under 45 seconds to go in the period. Fedorov put that slap shot beyond Hasek to put the Soviet Union into the lead. So we start with the face-off at center, and the Czechs playing from right to left in the white jerseys. Right from the face-off, and that one just about trickled over the top of Hasek. The Soviet player had his arms in the air to signal a goal, but it just didn't go over the line. Well, we saw at the start of the second period with 16 seconds gone, Ruzicka for Czechoslovakia come out and score an unassisted goal, and the Soviets were trying to do the same thing there. Still 3-2 the score. That shot from the point hit a skate, trickles wide. Seeger, so physical along the board. Svitek hammers his man to the ice. And they've come out hitting both teams. And I say it's a friendly, but that just means it's not a competition. It doesn't mean they're going to go easy on each other. Serban gets it over. Steviana decides to go. They let him go, and he's taken out right in front of Erb. And eventually, the young goaltender pounces on it and calls for a face-off. Well, no one wanted to pick up Steviana. They were waiting for the pass. So he decided to go it alone. But nothing really came of it. The Soviets sending 3 men into the face-off circle there, but the Czechs come up with the puck. Dumped behind the net, Seba backhands it right out front, and Kron got the shot, but it went off a stick. Yanechki pushes it behind the net. Lomakin. Zelepukin now working his way, splits the defense, takes a shot, and that's kicked out by Hasek. Some good work from number 18, and I got a feeling we're going to hear a lot from this kid as he squeezed out of the play there. So aggressive, a good stick handler, and likes to take on the defense. Still working against Baka. Zelepukin, a pair of 18 squaring off there. A shot. Hasek handles that one easily. Baka now. Baka flips that one into the corner, and it goes behind the goaltender. Up along the boards, too far for anyone from the Soviet side, and the Soviets are going to be called for icing. The game being played in Prague, Czechoslovakia. Nemenov. Kuchera in the face-off circle. And you can see the players up on their toes, just trying as hard as they can to get in as soon as that puck is dropped. For the most part, it hasn't been won outright. It's been left in the center skates, and it's been up to the wingers or the defensemen to come in and pick it up. Kuchera shadows as the Soviets, that long pass just slightly off the target. Leo Gudas puts a stick on it, and icing is the call. Every face-off is crucial for both teams. And as I said, they haven't really won it outright. It has been left in the sticks or in the skates. Now Siriev tries to put that out over the blue line, and it's dumped back in. Stilnov hammered into the boards. Sapantsev flips it around to Siriev. The Soviets now into the neutral zone. A long pass. Hasek is going to get there first as he scoops that around. Kadlec hammers his man into the far side. Kadlec gets back into the action. A slap shot, not on the target, and that's too hard for Siriev to control. And the Soviets go back into their own zone to regroup and reorganize here. (3-2) the score here in the third and final 20 minutes of play. Another whistle goes. It's been stop-start action as both teams try to find some rhythm in this friendly encounter. Pavel Woll talking to his players. They're nodding, so they seem to understand him. They know what he wants. But can they produce it on the ice? This time it's one outright, deflected high. Number 24 dumps it out over the line. That's Sipichin. Titov. Still the Soviets being allowed to walk in. And Hasek hung on to that one and then tried to flip it back for his Czech teammate. But as you can see, the goal was dislodged, and so we'll have a face-off. Here in the third period, both defense allowing the opposition to walk in, and then at the last minute taking them right in front of the net. I think most goaltenders would appreciate it very much if they could take the players out somewhere around the blue line. It's not always possible. A long pass. Seeger back to the defense, back to Seeger. Seeger still trying to get something going. They get as far as the blue line, and the Soviets shut him down. Pass from Seeger that went astray. Titov couldn't control it. Sipichin right to Titov now. Still, it's not out of the way. That's right in front. And it's just beyond the reach of Hasek, but fortunately for him, it was wide of the target. Still, it's not out. Kept in on the blue line. This time, the Czechs will get it out. Ruzicka headmans the puck. Ruzicka calling for it. Broken down at the blue line. Serban now. Serban pushes it in for Seba. Konstantinov touches it, and that'll be an icing call. Well, the officials calling everything out there. From time to time, you will see if the puck's just over the red line, they won't call it. Here's that incident in front of Hasek's cage. A weak shot, he couldn't reach, but fortunately for him, as I said, it was wide of the net. Povanov doing some forechecking. Seba leaves it. Long pass all the way down to Erb, and he scoops it back into the neutral zone. Not a good clearance from the Czech defender. The Soviets trying to get that out front. Kolvanov didn't succeed, and back comes Czechoslovakia. Prohatska. Janechki bumped out of the play. The Soviets now. Oh, and that's a goal. Semenov from Lomakin, number 30, was left wide open, a 2-on-1 break, and really that was so easy for him. Hasek didn't have a chance. 4-2 the score. Let's take another look at this on the slow-mo. Lomakin going in on the left wing. The defenseman goes down, tries to stop it. Number 30, Semenov, is right there to put it into the net. The whistle blows and we'll have another face-off. And really some lackluster defensive play by the Czechs there to get them in that situation. Caught with just one man back as that offside whistle blew for this face-off. Kuchera now. Fedorov in the face-off circle. Vlach. Gudas. Gudas punches it up, but no one there to pick it up. Kusarov. Kusarov again. Still a lot of bounce to that puck. We saw that in the first period. Hasek had to come to the rescue. Offside is the call. Soviets trapped beyond the blue line. But again, no one in front of the net to help out Dominik Hasek. And I'm sure Pavel Woll won't be impressed with what's going on in front of that net. Well, they're calling that a deliberate offside. Let's look at this situation again here. It's brought in, and it's touched by a Soviet player, so rightly so, it is an offside, but it's all the way down in the far end of the rink, and that's why Tikhonov was shrugging his shoulders. He couldn't believe the call. The shot, as again the Soviets are allowed to walk right in. Kuchera. Nemchinov. Some jeering and whistling coming from the Czech fans. They want to see more from their team. They really haven't had a... That's a high stick, so we'll have a face-off. They really haven't had a lot of opportunity around the Soviet net here in the third and final period. So the face-off, as the Soviets change their lines, will be to the right of Dominik Hasek. Ruzicka loses the draw. That shot, again, wide of the net. Titov waits in front. Sipicin. It bounces, and still it's the Soviets. Staviana comes to Hasek's help here. Picks it up, oh, and gives it right away, right in front. And again, the shot goes wide. Sistianov missed the net completely. And the supporters here not getting behind their team. And again, the shot goes wide. And I have a feeling Tikhonov might keep the Soviets behind here after the game is over to have some shooting practice. Serban losing out to Titov. Serban now gets the pass. No attack, no pressure from Czechoslovakia here in the third period. Have they lost their legs? Staviana beaten by Semenov, and then eventually he turns his man around. Yuri Seba across to Baka. A long shot wide of the net. Seba on the backhand side, and that's flipped into the crowd, and so we'll have another face-off. Pacing behind the net, Pavel Wol, the Czech coach. Looking for inspiration, looking for something to get this team back on the right track. They're floating right now. Krohn wins the draw as it comes out over the blue line. An easy shot for Erb. Konstantinov backhands it up along the boards. Konstantinov again. A long shot. The rebound comes out. Well, Prohatska has brought down the shot, and the rebound goes in the net. Well, Prohatska hung on to that for a long time. Semenov took the first shot, number 30, but eventually Polvanov, number 19, got the rebound and put it in the net. And listen to those jeers and whistles. Well, this rebound should have been cleared. Konstantinov took the first shot. Hasek got his blocker on it. Baka couldn't get to it. And watch Prohatska. Seba missed it as it goes up now. Prohatska, he has it, and he's taken his time. That should have been dumped into the corner. He tries to go forward. He's taken out of the play nicely. Semenov comes in. He takes a shot. The defenseman gets over in front of it, and eventually the rebound is picked up, and that's put in the net as Hasek is looking for the puck. 5-2 the score now. Kuchera runs into his own player at the blue line, and that really sums up the way things are going for Czechoslovakia here in the third period. It was close coming into this period. Now the Soviets perhaps in better shape, have extended their lead. Good defensive work there as Czechoslovakia try to pull themselves back into this one. Number 27, Vlach. Vlach dropping it back. Pavlas brings it in. And Kuchera finds himself flat on the ice in front of the net as the goalpost is dislodged, and we'll have a face-off. Number 4, František Kuchera, and also, of course, number 14, Jiří Kuchera on the Czechoslovakian side. Puck steered into the corner, eventually ends up behind the net. The Soviets come back on the attack. Dolezal flips it off the boards, but not out. Some poor clearances. That's right in front, and a good poke check by Dominik Hasek. Oh, wow. If I was Hasek, I'd be yelling, and that's going to be a tripping penalty. I was about to say that if I was Hasek, I'd be yelling at passes going in front of my net. And we're going to have a penalty on the play. Nemchinov, number 12 for the Soviet Union, will spend 2 minutes in the box for tripping. And could this be what the Czechs need to bring them back into the game? Kuchera brought right down in front of the official, who had a clear shot at that one. His hand went up immediately to signal the tripping call. Serban. Ruzicka. Trying to get it across to Svitek. Hasek to Seeger. Too far for anyone except Stilnov. Oh, some good play by the Soviets as they work in a 2-on-1 situation right out front. Oh, and that one again is wide of the target. Zepantsev was wide open there. Could have made it 6. Sergeyev Shoots that one to Steviana in the neutral zone. Siga, Ruzicka, offside the call, and frustration beginning to show as Ruzicka takes a chop at Smirnov, the Soviet defender. And I really don't know what's happened with the Czech play, but it's not anywhere near it was as good as it was in the first or second period. That shot on a 2-on-1 situation going wide of the target. Svitek for interference now, going into the penalty box for 2 minutes. Baka. Offside the call. The announcements in the stadium here are made in Czech and of course in English, as you just heard. So Svitek, Nemchinov both in the box. Play just a bit scrappy as they sort out that face-off situation just outside the blue line, and back come the Soviets now. Sipacin calling for it out front. Oh well, Soviets looking so confident here in the third period, picking up on everything, forechecking nicely. Ruzicka now trying to get by the defenseman, number 10, Churakov, but he took the body and held Ruzicka out of the play. But it really is all one-way traffic. Soviets keeping the Czechs hemmed in. Back to full strength. That one trickles right across the goal mouth. And now the Soviets, with a man advantage, put on the power play. The box shaping up in front of the net for Czechoslovakia. Back to the point. Konstantinov over to the far side, into the corner. Thrown almost falling over there, right into the slot area, and Kuchera backhands it down the ice. Konstantinov tipping it up. Kuchera just couldn't get control of that. That would have been useful. Right in front, and eventually steered into the corner. Semenov takes his time. They got a good build up here. Svitek steps back on the ice. Both teams now at full strength as the puck is smothered in the circle, and we'll have another face-off. Well, there have been several penalties throughout this game, and each team scored once on the shorthanded situation, and both goals coming in the first period. Kolvanov got it over to the wing. Jelinek fighting for that puck and eventually pushes it into the neutral zone. Now back come the Czechs. Oh, a nice move there. And eventually, number 26, Hasek, has to resign himself to the fact that Erb got there first. Erb really hasn't been tested that much throughout the game. He's come up with a couple of good saves, but most of the action has been on Dominik Hasek. That's the way the Soviets like it. They usually try to break down the play, break down the shot long before it gets to their goaltender. The Soviets now. A drop pass intended for Fedorov. Intercepted just a bit too far for Jelinek. Malakov. Fedorov. Nice pass up center. And they really are starting to throw these passes together. As As I said, the Soviets and Czechs known for their long passes, whereas you see in the NHL, it's kind of give and go, short stuff, short passes. Kuchera picks it from Hasek. Kuchera. Still no attack on the Soviet goal. They're getting in there, but they're not following through. No pressure on that goal at all. We'll have another whistle, another face-off. Third period, 5-2 the score here in Prague, Czechoslovakia. Ruzicka with Svitek. Serban. Stebiana taken out, but the Czechs come up with the puck. Seeger can't get the stick on that one to put it out front. Seeger still wrestles with the Soviets along the boards, and eventually the big red machine come up with the puck. Coming back into the neutral zone. A rink-wide pass. Stebiana going to get there first. Well, not a good pass from him. Number 8 came up with it. That's Sapensev. Now the Czechs. Svitek putting it in front. There's no one there to pick up that pass. Some aimless passes out there. I'm sure they'll make more of it the next time they meet. Syriev takes a shot on Hasek, and it calls for a face-off. They'll look at the film of this game, they'll do chalk talks, and they'll go out and practice. And hopefully for Czechoslovakia, they'll get it right next time. The game is not over, but they trail 5-2 here in the third and final period. Well, you can see what they were doing there. The stick between the legs to slow down the progress. And still, it's the Soviets putting on the pressure. Sipisin. Sistianov. Taken out nicely. The Czechs are putting together some good checks and some good defensive work. But offensively here in the third period, they really haven't got it together. Taken into the boards. Smirnov pushes the check and eventually calls for a face-off. Let's take a look at this again. Holding here the call on number 3 of the Soviet Union. So that'll cost them 2 minutes. Smirnov in the box. And a chance perhaps, once again, for Czechoslovakia to do something. Janecki. Kron. Seba for Czechoslovakia. Baka. Janecki. Still Baka. Janecki. Flipping it around too far. It's going to go out all the way, and Prohatska gets it forward. Kron now working his way on the right wing. Seba. Back to Kron. Kron has got Janecki right in front of the net, but he's covered by 2 players. Baka wants it on the far side. The shot steered away right in front now. Seba, Kron. Janecki still camped right in the slot, but he's got 3 red shirts around him now. Prohatska, the slap shot, kicked away. Baka. They desperately need a goal to bring themselves back into this game, and that one is dumped all the way down the ice. Back on the attack, Baka. Kuchera, right in front, that bobbles over, a stick, and the Soviets dump it down. Hasek. Both teams changing on the fly. Black to Kuchera. Well, a misunderstanding there. The Soviets come up with the puck. A weak shot high on Hasek, and he pushes that behind the net. Gudas. Kuchera. Cadillac now. Cadillac. Gets around one man. Cadillac to Kuchera. Too far for him. And too far for number 23, Dolana. The Soviets coming back now. And another whistle on the play. And still those jeers and whistles from the Czechoslovakian supporters as Biakin works his way to the penalty box. Having a word with the linesman. Interference is the call, and there it is there, pushing his man out of the play when he wasn't in possession of the puck. So the Soviets now with 2 men in the penalty box, and the last time they had this, Svitek scored a goal. Can they do it again? A shot right on the target. As Gudas was circling nearby, but Erb was equal to that shot. Good slap shot labeled for that top corner. Let's look at this again, just inside the blue line. Excellent save. Crone. Brother Dolazal. Pushed into the corner. Dolazal on the far post. Kuchera wants it on this side. Well, they're doing a great job of passing it around, but when are they going to shoot? Kuchera. Still no shots on goal, and eventually the Soviets get a piece of it and fire it down the ice. Well, just a couple of seconds remaining on the clock as the fans start to make their way to the exit. They're disappointed with the showing here in the third and final period. Seeger coming up for one last shot, perhaps on goal. Off that one. Was not a difficult one for Erb. It should have been in the net. Serban. Time ticking away. Serban. Still with the Soviets forechecking relentlessly. Seeger gets it over. One last shot, the long one on the target. A couple of seconds now. There goes the whistle to end the third period. The final score, Czechoslovakia 2, the Soviet Union 5. We're going to leave you now with the highlights of today's game. Until next time, for me, Paul Ferguson, bye for now.